And shit. VelociPastor. We're talking about the VelociPastor. I'm gonna put
Got
up your
some
picture.
miracles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
put up my picture
that's not your picture.
for
That's
Booty Tang.
Put it on, please, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that's good. Looks pretty realistic with your head on there. Just yeah, it's funny.
Excellent.
That's funny. Okay. Moving on, we can finally. I talked about one thing. We can finally get moving on though. So the VelociPastor. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while. It's just a funny concept, and it's one of those movies where they're trying to be so bad it's funny, which I'm okay with. But it has to be really funny, and this is pretty funny. There are a couple moments where I was like,
Yeah.
okay, they're trying a little hard too hard to be dumb. There's a few parts that were maybe not super funny, but for the most part, pretty solid laughs. There's ridiculous shit like it's just what the title suggests. It's a pastor that turns into a velociraptor. It's sort of like a werewolf, but he seems to be able to just be able to do it whenever, so it's not really like a werewolf. And he's got like the dinosaur gloves,
Right?
and you can clearly see the line like where the gloves are. It's fun. It's funny shit like that.
I
But
love that when they were all gathered together doing their, and they took the time to paint up his face, Velociraptory, but yeah, the hard line from the glove was there, and no attempt to cover it, and
yeah,
I loved that. That was, for me,
yeah.
Bela Lugosi wrestling a rubber octopus in the rain.
That's one of the things that I was okay with. And yeah, the classic reference to Bride of the Monster with Bela Lugosi, Ed Wood film. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's very funny. And another thing that it was so bad, and obviously they were trying to be bad, but it was funny. Was the at the very beginning, near the beginning, with the VFX, they have just the letters and or the words written VFX car on fire, and you have the main character Doug with that, right? It's his name. That's his name. He's the VelociPastor, and he's like crying at this VFX sort of graphic. Not it's not even an effect at all. It's just the words.
His parents die. He turns into Batman.
That's his parents dying scene. So it's pretty. Right there, it gives you an inkling into what kind of movie this is gonna be. If the title didn't.
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
Yeah. And yeah, no, this is funny. And then, yeah, so after that, he goes to China, and you know he's in China because it says China in big yellow letters, but it's almost certainly not filmed in China.
Not some local forest.
It just looks like a forest in Canada or wherever, or America or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it's China, really.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. And they do things sort of like that throughout. Like I'm not gonna ruin who it is, but there's a character that they clearly should have died for what happened to them, but then they're fine. The next scene, like they're fine, and they're like I'm fine, and then big letters that come on the screen that said they're fine, and it's things like that. Like okay, I get it. That's funny.
Right.
And there's a character called Frankie Mermaid, which is pretty funny. And he's obviously played for laughs, just like the over the top villain. Or not. He's not like the villain for the whole movie, but he's just the over the top bad guy. So to be sort of the first kill for the VelociPastor, and he's called Frankie Mermaid, and he's a pimp. And he's always talks about himself in the third person, which is funny. And he's confessing to the pastor, to the VelociPastor, all these terrible things he's done, and he's the one who killed his parents. I guess we find out, which is kind of funny. And this is like sort of near the beginning of the film, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling too much. But it's pretty funny. I like Frankie Mermaid just for being over the top villain.
Swimming in bitches.
Yeah, swimming in bitches. That's why he's called Frankie Mermaid. That's right. I think that's what he says. But no, what any other comments or feelings on Frankie Mermaid?
Oh, I loved his look.
Yeah.
Because he got like updated contemporary pimp. He is the 70s pimp.
Yeah, I would say
Right?
so. Yeah, he's got
You know,
sort of like a
nothing is new. It's as
yeah.
though he sought out vintage so that he could look like a pimp. And I find that funny,
Yeah.
because that was like 50 years ago.
Yeah. Well, this movie too, it seems so almost like a '70s grindhouse kind of movie too. So that's sort of fitting in a way.
Yes, that spirit was all over the place. I loved it.
Yeah, and it was fun. I don't know if I quite love this quite as much as you. You said you might give it a 10 out of 10, but I did enjoy it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's talk about the hooker character, the Doug,
Carol.
the Carol, the Doug the pastor befriends near the beginning of the film.
I was
She's
totally
good.
imagining that was you and Stacy all through the movie, so that's part of why I loved it so much.
Oh, that's that's very endearing. That's cute. I like that. I'm blushing. Thank you. Because yeah, his name is Doug, which is my name, so that makes sense. It makes enough sense. But yeah, Carol is the hooker, and she's rightfully pleased when Frankie Mermaid is killed because he is a bad man and he was her pimp. But yeah, so they make a sort of deal that he's gonna start killing only bad people, and it leads to a sort of funny montage. And now
Why is Douglas killing people, Douglas?
only the bad people, so it's okay. But no.
Why is he killing them?
Well, because
He's a pastor.
he's a pastor and he's killing the bad people. That's basically all it comes down to. And he's the dragon warrior because of there's a scene in China where they give him, there's a woman getting chased by ninjas, and she gives him like a tooth or necklace or something. And it's
some magical artifact.
And it like scratches him or something, but it doesn't make that much sense because it definitely I rewound it a couple times, and it definitely looks like he's getting scratched by the tree and not the claw or whatever, the tooth or whatever the fuck.
Okay.
So I was like, because that's what's supposed to, I think, turn him into the VelociPastor. So it'd be kind of funny if it was the tree, and then we'd have like Tree Man or whatever. But that's a different movie. But yeah, because he got definitely, if you watch that scene, it looks like he got scratched by the tree. And so yeah, that's another sort of minor note against it that looked a little weird. But
maybe China chose him through the tree.
Oh, and another thing, he's a pastor, and he's just really good at kung fu or karate or martial arts. Let's just say to be more vague. Where did he learn that? What did we get a scene? Did they explain that he learned where he learned kung fu or whatever? Like that was kind of funny.
He's Batman.
No, he's not.
That's what happens
He's
when
VelociPastor.
your parents are murdered in front of you.
You just
ninja
know
powers.
it. You just know karate. Like in the Matrix, I know kung fu. That's a funny line. Yeah, they're in China. At one point, I like those parts. You know they're in China.
Kind of looks an awful lot like Boston in that movie.
Yeah, it just looks like forest, which is really funny. But yeah, Carol and them, they start banging, right? So there's a point where it's like, wait, he's a pastor. He's not supposed to be banging. But it's sort of like, whatever. Who gives a fuck? He does what he wants. He's changing his ways.
He's also not supposed to be killing.
What's that?
Also not supposed to be killing.
Yeah, no. So he's breaking a few rules. This is true. And they do address both of them, to be fair. The kung fu thing, that him just knowing it,
the old guy.
was a little weird. Was that?
Buddy, the old guy, what was his name? Father...
Oh, Lawrence? That could be wrong. But I know who you're talking about. Let's just call him the older father. There's another pastor, and he's sort of like guiding.
I loved his flashback scene. I was crying.
To him in Vietnam, or whatever?
Yes,
Yeah.
and just everything going horribly wrong for him
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. And, like, how they just have... They set it up so there's a minefield, and then they have his wife or girlfriend or whatever. Like, it's a sort of a war movie cliche where they have them die or whatever, but this is sort of the reverse of that, because they have her just standing in the middle of the minefield, and then she explodes. And like, what was she doing there? It's like she was probably looking to get married or something like that. I forget what the line was exactly, but it was just sort of like a nonsensical
interpretation.
It's a nonsensical line, but it's sort of like reminiscent of those war movies, so it's relatable and funny in that way. Whoa, SLXM Reaper, thank you for tabbing me. So that worked? Yeah, restarting the computer worked, so that's always a good thing to try. Next week we're doing sound check. I already read that. Tab, is this a documentary? No, of course not, but that would be funny if it was. Shout out SLXM Reaper, woot woot. Thank you for tabbing me, friend.
Yeah, it's a documentary about Doug and Stacy.
Yeah, it's our love story.
When she used to go by Carol.
Mixed with some in the later year or the earlier years, I guess we should say. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I forget. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta keep going. The VelociPastor.
Yeah.
There's lots of like fighting scenes, and when they actually show him in like the full, because they do eventually, the full on suit. So I'm a big sort of supporter and advocate, if you will, for practical effects, and I love practical effects, and I love the practical effects in this movie, but I'm not gonna pretend and say that these are good practical effects, but that is sort of the point. That is the charm. It is in the comedy that this works. So you got this ridiculous Velociraptor sort of dinosaur suit. Although I don't think it really looks like.
I want to see strings.
What's that? The strings?
Sometimes I want to see the strings.
Right. Okay. No. Yeah, I get that.
I'm delighted to do that.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This works for that, and it's pretty funny. But it's just so ridiculous, and I'm not even sure if the costume actually resembles a Velociraptor. It almost looks more like a T-Rex or something. But again, I'm no dinosaur specialist, so I couldn't really say. But from what I've seen in movies and books and shit, that's what I could decipher. But yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. And yeah, there's a scene with him in this ridiculous... Well, there's more than one, I guess, of the scenes of him fighting people in this ridiculous suit, and it looks so silly because you can see like the rubber folds and all that. But that's part of the charm. That's part of the fun. But yes, there are a few moments where I feel like they were trying just a little too hard to be dumb. You gotta get that perfect middle point. And for the most part, they nailed it on the head. For the most part. But like I would say Psycho Gorman, sort of different, but like sort of similar genres that they're spoofing. I like that movie a little bit more, but still, this was pretty good. Anyway, let's Wikipedia it. We didn't Wikipedia it. There's probably some shit about it. I wonder if this made money. I remember the first time I like saw this movie or like heard about it. It was in a meme, and it was just like it was one of those memes. That was like, the perfect movie doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, and it's this movie, the perfect movie. Because it's such an outrageous sort of premise that as soon as you hear that title, you're like, fuck, I kind of want to see that. And you can't blame anyone, I don't think. It's a good concept. And yeah, I guess that was part of it, why I held it to such high regard, because I sort of, with that concept, was like, this has to be fucking great. And it was pretty good, so, still liked it, but yeah, minor nitpicks on it. VelociPastor, Wikipedia. I said that weird. Wikipedia. Let's see what you gotta say. Internets. Well, what was the budget? It was really low, I think. Oh, that's so okay. This gives me way more respect for it, because this is only slightly more than the budget we had on our movie. Still a very low budget. $35,000 budget thumbs up for making this with that. Holy shit. And you can kind of see why they went in the direction of some of the effects and just putting the words VFX, car on fire, and things like that instead of the actual effect. Maybe for the joke, but also maybe because it was cheaper too. But yeah, that's awesome. Making sure it's not frozen on the stream. It's cool. I don't know how it broke. How I broke it. What? What did you break? Well, you mean Discord? You're not on here anymore? Stevie? You broke it. Stevie. Talk to me in the typing. If you can't talk to me in the voice. Ooh, you are Pootie Tang back there. But yeah, I was talking about it for a bit there. I still got the VelociPastor on Wikipedia here. So the VelociPastor is a 27 American comedy horror film written and directed by Brendan Steer. The plot follows Pastor Doug Jones. Doug Jones, that's funny. Who becomes infected by an artifact, resulting in turning into a velociraptor. When he becomes angry, oh, that's what it is? I didn't understand that that's what it was. That wasn't made very clear. It's when he's angry that he turns into a VelociPastor. I gotta go eat pizza with Norwegian. I'll be back. You're in the Discord chat? Did you? Oh, you broke it. But it's not working for some reason? Hello? I'll make sure it's not me. Hello? Hello, hello? I don't think it's me. Unless you... I don't think it's me. You mean it says you're still here. But, you know, that's okay. At least we talked about it for a little bit. I'm not sure how to fix it. But yeah, if G-Bergs is picking you up, 6:30 isn't that far away, really. So if you guys want to come over, you can. If we're still talking about that stuff by the time you're here, and I hope so. But yeah, I'd have to sort of... I'd have to go open the door. Let's keep it going, though. Dang technology, eh? We have it working for a little bit. Okay, you laughed. Maybe I'll leave. Are you going to try to go in and out? Is that what we're going to try to do? Or is it over? Is it over, Stevie? Because I'll go back in if you want. I think it's working for me. You're in there. Hello? Hello? I don't think I'm hearing you. Kind of want to check my voice settings.
Potato stew.
Oh, you're here.
Potatoes in here.
Can you hear me?
Stewy potatoes.
Can you hear me, Stevie?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Good. Well, yeah, no, just to make sure. Okay, you're back though. That's good. Okay, cool. So yeah, talking about the budget, $35,000. That's fucking amazing. Holy shit. That gives me more respect for it, for sure, because it's pretty good for that budget. I gotta say.
Yeah, that's low.
Yeah, that's only slightly higher than our budget, which was $16,000 for the movie my family made. Instruments of Evil. It's for free on YouTube if you want to Google that. That should find it. Instruments of Evil full movie. I can hear. Yes.
How much older is your movie?
How much older is our movie? Is this is like a year older than... I think we released ours 2015 or 2016. I think 2016. So this is only a year newer. It's a year newer, sorry, than ours. But yeah.
More experience managing resources from that crew probably. Whereas yours was, let's try this out.
Yeah, we were just sort of going for it. But at the same time, I think for the budget that we had, we also got quite an amazing thing on the screen for the budget. Only $16,000. So I think we did a good job too, considering. But I think this is a better movie.
For sure.
I think this is a better movie than our movie though. But that being said, I like both of the movies. Well, we should review Instruments of Evil one day. One day we will, I swear.
Me too.
We'll get it. Yeah.
October.
Yeah, maybe for Spooky Month we could, and it's on YouTube for free, so that's an easy one. But and plus I have the DVD, of course, because it's our movie. But yeah, no, this movie's good though. VelociPastor, I do recommend. Fun, goofy horror comedy. If this isn't your type of thing, like if you hear the title and you cringe at its stupidity, then it's probably not for you. But I feel
do
like
not proceed.
yeah, if you're a pussy, as Stevie would put it. But no, if you're the type of person that you know that you don't like this kind of schlock, this kind of the dumb fun shit, then don't watch it. But if you hear the title and you snicker and you think this could be fun, I like horror comedy, I like silly practical effects, I like bad jokes, then you might enjoy this. So
I went in with no expectations.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I went in with
is this?
Yeah, that's fair. I went in with somewhat high expectations just because of the premise. I wanted it to deliver with the premise, but that is fair.
Right, 'cause
I can also understand that because it's such a silly idea. I don't expect much, but I understood what they were going for, which was goofy comedy. So I'm sort of gauging it on that scale of horror comedy, where I would put like Psycho Goreman near the top and like Evil Dead near the top, that kind of thing. But this maybe slightly below, but still pretty good. Anyway, yeah, I like this movie. I'm ready to rate it if you are, but if you got more to say, keep talking about it. Yeah, on the spot.
His parents were super sweet. We only got to know them in a flashback.
Oh, okay, let's talk about those scenes, because that was really funny. Because they show them the sort of over the top, like bonding, like him just remembering his parents, and that scene was funny alone. But then they go back, and sort of spoilers, but it's still funny to watch it. Honestly, even with the spoiler, I would swear.
Spoil it.
We find out that this character that's working for the villains, let's just call them the bad guys, because that's all they really are. They're ninjas. We find out that
guy hanging with the Chinese ninjas.
Yeah, we find out that he is the brother of Pastor Doug, our main character, and we go back to all these scenes, and they sort of just put him in like ridiculously, like how could he even actually be there? Like, there's a scene where they're in the car, like, oh, I love you, I only have one son, and then they show him in the back looking sad in the trunk, and did you cut out again?
Oh.
Okay, I thought I heard it just but that's okay. But yeah, there's another scene like that in the same sort of montage, where he's coming out of the kitchen. And they're all laughing, and he's looking like he's not being included, and he's looking sort of sad. So those scenes are funny. I'm glad you mentioned the family, because I kind of forgot about that. Those scenes are funny, the flashbacks. Because you gotta have the obvious, oh, I miss my dad so much, thing. Because like you said, he's basically Batman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much else to say on that. Unless you have anything else to add that I could maybe comment on.
I really liked Carol.
Yeah,
from the beginning, like, oh, she's a hooker, all right. But then she tells us she's a college student. Okay, that's even better. But by the end, she's kicking all this ninja ass, and she's fine.
Totally. Strong, independent woman, for sure. Gotta love those characters. And yeah, no, she's like, there's no acting in this is spectacular, but she holds her own, I think, as far as the quality of this movie goes. And she is good. She's a good character. They have decent chemistry as far as this kind of movie goes, I thought. And it worked. Carol, gotta love you.
Great chemistry.
Yeah. And great science in general in this movie with the I guess it's more magic than science. But, you could argue that science is magic. Anyway, that's a different discussion.
Okay.
Lots of
What do
fun.
you learn by watching the Magic School Bus, Doug?
Don't go on Mars and take your helmet off or you'll get cold.
Yeah, you learned science on the Magic School Bus.
Yeah, science. And I like the one where they go inside the guy's body. Arnold's body, right? They go, I like that one.
Arnold's the one who never should have showed up today.
Oh yeah, every day he's like, I shouldn't have came to school. You gotta go, and how do they have a field trip every day? Oh, or maybe
Right?
or
What
they just,
school is this?
or they just don't show us the days they don't, I guess. But like, I would have liked to see one episode of the Magic School Bus where they just have a normal day and they don't go. Just one, just so we know that it happens. But anyway. This movie's pretty good. I'm ready to rate it if you are, Stevie. I don't know if you have more to add, though. Go ahead.
10 Stevie's perfect movie.
10 Stevies. Okay, you're gonna rate it. I'm gonna put on a beat for when I write the rating out and do a little. You know what I do. I do my little ritual, if you will. Yeah, let's just do that. Keep going, Stevie. Okay. Yeah, this is
That's all you get.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna put on a song then. This is Skateboard to the Beer Store by Turn Up Music SK. I have a sort of weird rating, but I don't know. I gotta do more weird ratings, I think. Let's get weird with it. 7.3! Motherfucking 7.3 dogs out of 10. Yeah, it was pretty good. Got a little bit of problems, but I liked it. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Alright. That's the VelociPastor. We are moving on. Stevie, you still with me? Stevie.
Yes.
Is G-Berg's gonna
What do you got?
still come
Oh,
get you?
lower than your